Welcome back to Sussex Unmasked, your ultimate home for unfiltered royal truth and deep dive analysis. Well, another week, another desperate PR stunt going down in flames over in Montecito. Isn't it, honestly? Before we even jump into today's absolute bombshell of a story, I have to mention a point brought up recently in our comments section by one of our brilliant subscribers, Colleen Pollock. She captured the exact frustration that millions of us around the world are feeling right now, pointing out how Meghan was handed a life on a silver platter that most women would be in absolute awe of, only to abuse every single bit of it, as if she were entitled to some imaginary crown, leaving us all laughing at her embarrassing attempts at playing princess in the real world. That insight hits the nail right on the head, doesn't it? The sheer entitlement, the endless demand for royal glory, without a single ounce of royal duty, dignity, or sacrifice. And if you haven't subscribed to Sussex Unmasked yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on notifications and join our growing family, so you never miss an episode where we strip away the glossy PR spin and look at the actual unvarnished facts. Because today, in the year 2026, the ultimate reckoning has finally arrived. The glossy commercial mask has completely fallen off, and the public is seeing the reality behind the carefully curated headlines. We are currently watching the total unmitigated disaster of Prince Harry's public legacy unfold in real time at the High Court of England and Wales in London. Imagine this for a second: a children's HIV charity, built in the sacred memory of Princess Diana, a charity named Sentebale, which Harry co-founded back in 2006, has officially taken legal action against Prince Harry himself. Let that sink in for a moment. As we head toward the 30-year anniversary of Princess Diana's tragic passing in 1997, the contrast between the two royal brothers could not possibly be more stark or more painful to witness. While Harry is currently dragging his mother's legacy through the mud, facing brutal allegations of defamation, corporate bullying, and commercial opportunism, Prince William stands in absolute dignified silence. William hasn't had to say a single word. He hasn't had to release a PR briefing, stage a photo op, or orchestrate an emergency media campaign. Because while Harry is systematically losing every last shred of credibility tied to Diana's name, William inherits her true legacy simply by being the son who understood what her life was actually supposed to be about. With an 18-month legal countdown ticking toward a catastrophic High Court trial in late 2027, Harry is running out of road fast. The legal system in London does not care about Hollywood publicity agents, nor does it care about royal titles, and Harry is about to find that out in the most public, painful way imaginable. When you look at the sheer scale of what is happening right now in London, you realise that this is not just another tabloid feud or a temporary PR hiccup for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. This is a seismic shift in how Prince Harry is viewed by the legal system, by the British public, and by the global institutions that once welcomed him with open arms. For years, Harry has managed to spin his departures, his feuds, and his commercial ventures as a heroic escape from a repressive system. But when a charity dedicated to saving the lives of vulnerable African children decides that its own royal co-founder has become such a toxic liability that they must file formal legal papers against him in the High Court, the narrative changes forever. Think about the irony here. Harry spent years telling the world, through streaming documentaries, televised tell-all interviews, and his own explosive memoir, that he was the protector of his mother's memory. He claimed he was the only one who truly understood her legacy, the only one brave enough to break free from the royal machinery. Yet here we are in 2026, and the very organisation created as a living tribute to Diana's favourite flower is treating Harry not as a hero or a champion, but as a legal threat that must be neutralised in court. Every step Harry has taken since stepping down as a working royal in 2020 has led directly to this moment. The constant monetisation of his family ties the endless attacks on the British media. The commercial deals with streaming giants and the staged appearances at charitable events have all collided into one massive legal catastrophe. The public is exhausted, the charity board has had enough, and the court calendar is set. As we examine the details of this legal nightmare, remember that this is not a battle Harry chose. In every previous legal encounter, Harry was the aggressor, dragging news organisations into court to air his grievances. This time, he is backed into a corner, forced to answer to a court of law for his own actions and the actions of his media machine. So what on earth drove an HIV children's charity, built over 19 years, to turn around and aim a massive legal weapon right at its own royal co-founder? To truly understand how we got to this unprecedented disaster in 2026, we have to go back to the very beginning. Back in 2006, Prince Harry partnered with Prince Seeso of Lesotho to establish Sentebale. The word Sentebale comes from the local Sesotho language, and it translates to forget-me-not, a direct loving tribute to Princess Diana and her favourite flower. For nearly 2 decades, Sentebale was the one project nobody could ever question about Harry. It was real. It was tangible. It did genuine life-saving work for vulnerable children suffering from HIV and AIDS in Lesotho and Botswana. It carried Diana's spirit without needing a camera crew or a streaming contract to prove it. Or at least that is what the world was led to believe for nearly 19 years. Fast forward to 2025. After an increasingly bitter, behind-the-scenes power struggle, Harry suddenly walked away from the charity, quitting his role as patron. Harry and his co-founder released a statement claiming they resigned with heavy hearts. But behind closed doors, a massive war was raging within the Board of Trustees. The romantic image of the charitable prince was dissolving into a bitter corporate dispute. Enter Dr. Sophie Chandauka MBE. Now let me tell you about Dr. Sophie Chandauka, because Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have officially met their match. Dr. Chandauka is not some Hollywood sycophant, a hired PR agent, or a celebrity friend looking for a photo op. She is a woman who grew up with nothing built, an extraordinary career through sheer brilliance and determination, earned a formidable education in Canada and Britain, and rose to senior executive positions at global powerhouses like JP Morgan and Meta. She was awarded an MBE by the British Crown for her services to diversity in business. In short, she is a powerhouse lawyer and executive who doesn't care about royal titles, and she certainly wasn't about to let a spoiled prince bully her or compromise her charity. When Dr. Chandauka took over as chair of the board, she encountered what she publicly described in a Sky News interview as a toxic culture of silence inside the organisation. Board members were literally afraid to speak up or challenge the Duke of Sussex in meetings. She used the word belligerence to describe Harry's behaviour during internal discussions. Think about that for a second, a room full of seasoned professionals, dedicated humanitarians, and international business leaders, sitting around a table, terrified of challenging a prince who thought his title gave him the right to dictate terms without accountability. Chandauka didn't cower. She didn't back down or try to smooth things over with a quiet PR compromise. She took immediate decisive action. Before any lawsuit was even filed in court, she reported the charity to the UK Charity Commission, alleging bullying, harassment, workplace misconduct, and misogyny within the leadership dynamic. She recognised that the organisation could not fulfil its mission to vulnerable children if it was being manipulated from above by individuals who viewed the charity as an extension of their personal brand. Under Dr. Chandauka's leadership, the board began investigating the reality of how the charity was being run and how its public image was being used. What they uncovered was a growing divergence between the original noble mission of Sentebale and the increasingly commercial demands of the Sussex PR machine. For years, the charity had benefited from Harry's involvement, but as his public brand became more polarised and commercialised following his move to California, that relationship turned into a severe liability. Staff members and board trustees, who had devoted years of their lives to helping children in southern Africa, found themselves caught in the middle of a global publicity storm every time Harry made a public appearance on behalf of the charity. The focus shifted away from the life-saving medical work and educational programs in Lesotho and Botswana, and toward the glamorous red carpet appearances, celebrity endorsements, and commercial filming permits demanded by Montecito. Chandauka recognised that if Sentebale was to survive as a credible international charity, it had to break free from this toxic dynamic. She refused to allow the charity's reputation to be held hostage by a royal patron who appeared more interested in using the organisation for personal PR leverage than in upholding its core values. Her decision to file a formal report with the UK Charity Commission was a shot across the bow, signalling that the era of unchallenged royal authority inside Sentebale was officially over. Dr. Chandauka dropped that Charity Commission report before a lawsuit even existed, but the real detonator that blew this entire feud into public view didn't happen in a courtroom. It exploded right on a glamorous red carpet in Miami. On Friday, April 10th, 2026, the legal hammer officially dropped. Sentebale issued a formal statement on their official website announcing that they had commenced legal proceedings in the High Court of England and Wales, seeking judicial intervention, protection and restitution against 2 specific defendants, the Duke of Sussex and his longtime mentor Mark Dyer, a former equerry to King Charles. The lawsuit, originally filed in March 2026, stems from what the charity's board officially described as a coordinated adverse media campaign conducted since March 25, 2025. A campaign that caused catastrophic operational disruption, severe reputational harm, and an onslaught of cyberbullying targeted directly at the charity's executive leadership and strategic partners. Now you have to understand why this legal filing is an absolute watershed moment for Prince Harry. In every single courtroom Harry has stepped into, over the last 6 years he was the one bringing the fight. He was the claimant suing the British press, the Daily Mail, the Sun, the Mirror, or taking legal action against the Home Office over his security arrangements. In those cases, Harry picked the timing. He picked the battlefield. And whenever things started looking grim, he could always try to settle out of court or walk away with a vague statement. Not this time, folks. In this High Court case, Harry is the defendant. He didn't choose this battle, he was dragged into it. He has no choice whatsoever but to defend himself. And he cannot simply pull the plug or instruct his legal team to quietly settle unless Dr. Chandauka agrees. Dr. Chandauka holds the steering wheel now. She calls the shots and she decides if this goes all the way to a full public High Court judgment. And here is where the English legal system becomes a total trap for Harry. In America, under the First Amendment, freedom of speech is heavily protected. And if someone sues you for defamation, the person suing has to prove that you knowingly lied or acted with actual malice. But English defamation law runs in the exact opposite direction. Under English law, whatever Harry or his representatives said or published about Dr. Sophie Chandauka and the Sentebale board is legally presumed to be false from day one. The entire burden of proof rests squarely on Harry's shoulders. He has to stand up in a British court and prove on the balance of probabilities that his damaging claims were actually true. The law sides against him before a single witness even takes the stand, or a single document is entered into evidence. To make matters even worse for Harry, civil litigation in the High Court of England and Wales does not involve a jury. There are no sympathetic fans sitting in a jury box who might be swayed by emotional speeches, celebrity charisma, or royal nostalgia. The entire case will be decided by a single highly experienced High Court judge who cares about nothing except hard legal evidence, statutory definitions, and documented facts. In an English courtroom, theatrical PR maneuvers and vague accusations do not hold up. If Harry claims that he was treated unfairly, or that the charity board acted improperly, he must produce concrete written evidence to back up his claims. If he cannot satisfy the judge with strict documentary proof, he loses the case, and the financial and reputational consequences will be catastrophic. This fundamental shift in legal dynamics puts Harry in a position he has never experienced in his entire life. Growing up inside the royal family, he was accustomed to having teams of lawyers, courtiers, and PR advisors shield him from legal consequences. Even after leaving the royal family, he relied on his wealth and high-profile status to drive his legal crusades against newspaper publishers. But in this case, his royal title gives him zero advantage. The High Court treats a prince exactly the same as any other citizen, and the rules of evidence apply to him with unforgiving precision. As the legal proceedings unfold throughout 2026, Harry's legal team is facing an uphill battle just to construct a viable defense. Every statement released by his PR team, every leak to sympathetic media outlets, and every private message sent during the dispute will be subjected to intense legal scrutiny by Dr. Chandauka's legal team. When the law sides against you from day one, your only hope is your own private paper trail. But those exact private documents might just become the very furnace that burns your entire reputation to the ground. So what actually caused this explosive legal fallout? The specific allegations in the court filings reveal a pattern of behaviour that is honestly mind-boggling. According to statements and court documentation, the crisis reached a boiling point during a Sentebale charity polo fundraiser in Miami. Harry decided to bring a full Netflix camera crew to the fundraiser to film footage for his commercial streaming project. Here's the kicker. Nobody at the charity was told in advance. The original venue actually pulled out of hosting the event because it suddenly turned from a noble children's fundraiser into a commercial Hollywood production, causing costs to skyrocket through the roof. The charity was forced to scramble at the last minute to find a replacement location, creating massive logistical chaos. Then on the actual day of the event, Meghan Markle showed up, unannounced, bringing along her high-profile friend Serena Williams. No warning, no coordination with charity staff, no respect for the event schedule or security protocols. The entire fundraiser was thrown into complete disarray as charity staff were sidelined to accommodate Hollywood royalty. And then came the moment that circulated around the entire globe, a moment millions of you probably remember seeing on your screens. During the trophy presentation on stage, viral video footage showed Meghan blatantly telling Dr. Sophie Chandauka, the chair of the board, to move away from Harry so Meghan could stand next to her husband for the photo op. You can literally watch Meghan gesturing for this accomplished corporate executive to step aside on her own stage. When the international press tore that awkward, embarrassing moment apart, Harry's PR team reportedly reached out to Dr. Chandauka and demanded that she issue a public statement defending Meghan from the negative press coverage. Dr. Chandauka's response was swift, blunt, and legendary. She refused point-blank, stating, "We are not setting a precedent by which we become an extension of the Sussex PR machine." She went even further in her assessment of the charity's future, identifying the single greatest risk to the charity's survival. It wasn't a lack of donor funding. It wasn't political instability in Africa. It was the absolute toxicity of its led patrons brand. Think about that, folks. A children's HIV charity, built in a dead princess's honour, declared that its royal founder was the biggest threat to the vulnerable children they were trying to save. And if that wasn't bad enough, investigative author Tom Bower dropped another bombshell in his book, Betrayal. He reported that Harry allegedly asked certain Sentebale donors to redirect their financial contributions away from Sentebale and into Arcuel, his own personal foundation. If that allegation is proven in court, Harry wasn't just damaging the charity's reputation, he was actively draining its financial lifeblood and diverting it to his own commercial entity in California. Imagine the implications of that allegation. If it is substantiated during the trial, a royal founder using his prestige and historical connection to his mother's memory, allegedly encouraging donors who intended to support HIV-positive orphans in southern Africa to send their money instead to a foundation controlled by him and his wife in Montecito. The reputational damage from such a revelation would be absolute and irreversible. The Miami Polo Incident stands as a perfect microcosm of everything that has gone wrong with the Sussexes' approach to charitable work since moving to America. What was supposed to be a dignified, high-profile fundraising event for a cause close to Princess Diana's heart was transformed into a commercial backdrop for a streaming television series, a platform for celebrity photo ops, and a display of personal entitlement. The contrast between the charity's original mission and the commercial circus that descended upon the Miami Polo field could not have been more obvious. For Dr. Chandauka and the Sentebale board, this was the final straw. They realised that allowing the charity to be used as a publicity shield for commercial ventures was destroying the organisation's integrity and alienating core donors who had supported the cause for nearly 2 decades. If that financial diversion allegation is proven in court, Harry wasn't just damaging a charity, he was draining its lifeblood. But if you think a public trial is terrifying, wait until you see the legal weapon that forces Harry to expose his most private marriage conversations. If you think a defamation lawsuit is a nightmare, what comes next in English, civil procedure, is a complete radioactive disaster for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. In English civil litigation, there is a mandatory process called disclosure, what Americans call discovery. One senior criminal defense barrister reviewed this case on camera and described the disclosure process in one single word: nuclear. Under English court rules, both sides are legally required to hand over every single relevant document in their possession. That doesn't just mean official charity letters or formal meeting minutes. It means every single email, every file stored on their personal computers, every text message, and every WhatsApp message sent to anyone involved in the situation, including journalists and media contacts. Think about what that actually means for Prince Harry. Every single WhatsApp message between Harry and Mark Dyer discussing the charity board is disclosable. Every private text message between Harry and Meghan venting about Dr. Sophie Chandauka mocking her, or strategizing how to leak stories against her to sympathetic reporters going back years, to the very beginning of the tension, must be turned over to the court bundle. The only thing protected by law is confidential communication between Harry and his formal legal counsel. That's called legal professional privilege, and it is absolute. But everything else, every text to his wife, every message to his celebrity friends, every draft statement sent to his PR team, it all has to be disclosed to Dr. Chandauka's legal team. If the other side suspects Harry is hiding or withholding messages, they can apply for a court order, forcing a forensic sweep of his electronic devices. Now imagine if Harry texted Meghan, saying something disparaging or retaliatory about Dr. Chandauka during the height of the dispute. Those messages will be printed out in black and white, bound into official court bundles, and read aloud in open court before a high court judge and the global media press gallery. And it gets even worse. Legal experts on camera actually raised the alarming scenario of whether Harry might simply delete his messages and claim it was routine privacy policy. The legal expert immediately confirmed on camera that deleting evidence subject to a court disclosure order is flat out illegal. It constitutes contempt of court which carries severe legal penalties under British law. The sheer scale of this disclosure requirement means that Harry and Meghan's private communications over a period of several years will be subjected to intense legal analysis. In civil litigation of this nature, lawyers leave no stone unturned. They will cross-examine Harry on the exact wording of his private text messages, asking him to explain every remark, every insult, and every strategic discussion regarding Dr. Chandauka and the Sentebale board. For a couple that has built an entire business model around controlling their own narrative, releasing carefully edited documentaries, and maintaining strict privacy over their personal lives, the disclosure process represents an absolute nightmare. They will have zero control over which text messages are presented in court. The privacy they claim to seek when leaving the United Kingdom will be completely dismantled, not by paparazzi or intrusive journalists, but by the mandatory rules of the British legal system. Consider the poetic justice of this situation. For 6 years, Harry has used the legal system to demand that British media outlets turn over internal emails, reporter notes, and private phone records. He celebrated every time a court ordered a newspaper group to disclose its private documentation. Now the tables have turned completely. The very weapon he wielded against Fleet Street is being deployed against him by an independent charity chair who refuses to be intimidated. Talk about poetic justice. The exact same weapon Harry used to tear open newspaper archives is now pointed directly at his own marriage. But that leaves one massive mystery. Nobody in the media can answer. Who on earth is footing the $1 million bill for this High Court war? Now we come to the massive question that almost nobody in the mainstream media is asking. Yet it is the most intriguing element of this entire legal war. High Court litigation in London is astronomically expensive. A multi-year defamation case involving high-profile figureheads, extensive disclosure, preliminary hearings, and senior Queen's Counsel barristers can easily run into millions of pounds in legal fees. Sophie Chandauka has officially confirmed on record that not a single penny of Sentebale's charity funds or public donations is being used to pay for this lawsuit. The children's money is completely untouched and protected. So if the charity isn't paying for this multi-million-pound legal battle, who on earth is? Someone out there with extremely deep pockets has decided to secretly finance a multi-year High Court war against the Duke of Sussex, and they are remaining completely anonymous. Legal commentators and senior barristers have put forward a fascinating theory. What if a major British newspaper group is secretly backing Sentebale? Think about it, folks. For 6 years, Fleet Street media outlets have been on the receiving end of Harry's relentless lawsuits. They have spent tens of millions of pounds defending themselves against his legal crusade, suffering immense reputational damage and legal expense along the way. What better way for a media conglomerate to get absolute payback than by proxy, by quietly bankrolling a highly qualified, incorruptible board of trustees who have genuine, rock-solid legal claims against Harry? If that theory is true, then every single legal battle Harry waged against the British press didn't result in a humbled media. It created an enemy with a deep grudge, an endless legal budget, and now a perfect backdoor entrance to destroy his credibility once and for all in open court. Consider the strategic brilliance of such a move if the theory holds water. A media organisation backing Sentebale behind the scenes wouldn't have to write sensational headlines or launch public attacks. All they would have to do is provide the financial muscle for Dr. Chandauka to pursue her legal claims through the proper court channels. The court process itself would generate all the damaging disclosures, the embarrassing text messages, and the devastating legal findings, without the newspaper group ever having to take the lead. Whether the financial backing comes from a media conglomerate, a wealthy private benefactor who cares deeply about African children's charities, or a coalition of former donors who feel betrayed by Harry's actions, one thing is abundantly clear. Dr. Chandauka has the financial resources to see this case through to the bitter end. She is not going to run out of money halfway through the litigation, nor is she going to be forced into an unfavourable settlement because of rising legal bills. This financial reality completely changes the strategic calculus for Harry. In many legal disputes involving high-profile individuals, the party with greater wealth can simply outspend their opponent, dragging out proceedings until the less wealthy party is forced to surrender or settle. Harry cannot use that strategy here. Whoever is funding Sentebale's legal defence has provided Dr. Chandauka with an unassailable financial foundation, allowing her legal team to hire the finest legal minds in London and pursue every legal avenue available under English law. As the pre-trial hearings approach, throughout 2026 and into 2027, the pressure on Harry will only continue to build. Every procedural motion, every disclosure deadline, and every legal argument will cost hundreds of thousands of pounds, while exposing his private communications to further public scrutiny. While the legal trap was tightening in London, an incident occurred in July that brought the memory of Princess Diana into an entirely new, deeply uncomfortable arena. During a trip to the United Kingdom in July 2025, Harry and Meghan stayed at Althorpe Estate, the ancestral Spencer family home where Princess Diana grew up, and where her body is laid to rest on an isolated island in the middle of an estate lake. Shortly after the visit, Meghan posted a photo on her social media channels, showing Harry, Archie and Lilibet from behind, walking down a tree-lined grassy path carrying bouquets of flowers. Within hours, predictably, People magazine, briefed directly by the Sussex PR team, confirmed that the photo was taken at Althorpe Estate. The destination of that grassy path was glaringly obvious. To anyone familiar with the estate layout, they were walking toward Princess Diana's secluded gravesite. The global backlash was immediate, fierce, and widespread, and the timing of that photo post was breathtakingly manipulative. Meghan dropped that graveside photo the exact day after the Prince and Princess of Wales released an official birthday portrait of Prince George to mark his 13th birthday milestone. Just as the world was celebrating the future, King Meghan dropped pictures of her children walking to Diana's grave, effectively hijacking the international news cycle and redirecting media attention back to Montecito. Commentators, royal experts, and thousands of people online used one specific word to describe the post: ghoulish. That word is particularly damning, because Charles Spencer, Diana's own brother, once wrote in his memoirs that the decision to bury Diana on a secluded island in the middle of an estate lake was deliberately designed as a physical barrier against what he termed the insane and ghoulish. And here was Diana's own daughter-in-law posting a staged, artistically framed photo walking toward that sacred burial site for commercial PR leverage on social media. Reports emerged from royal insiders that Prince William was utterly devastated and disgusted by the post. King Charles was genuinely shocked by the blatant commercialisation of his late ex-wife's final resting place. William visits his mother's grave in absolute silence. No cameras, no press releases, no Instagram posts, no media briefings, and no strategic leaks to American celebrity magazines. He takes his wife and children quietly to honour her memory in private, away from the public gaze. That is what genuine, authentic grief looks like. The contrast between William's private reverence and Meghan's public staging highlight the fundamental difference in how the two brothers approach their mother's memory. For William, Diana's grave is a sacred place of personal mourning and quiet reflection. For the Sussex PR machine, it became another content asset, a photo op to be released at a strategically advantageous moment to disrupt a royal family milestone and drive social media engagement. This was not the first time Meghan had been accused of using Diana's memory for PR leverage. Over the years, royal commentators have noted a persistent pattern of behaviour, wearing identical outfits, copying famous poses, filming video clips in locations associated with Diana's tragic death, and constantly invoking her name during commercial interviews. But the Althorpe graveside photo represented a line crossed that could never be uncrossed. The outrage generated by the Althorpe photo was not confined to traditional royalists or British media outlets. People around the world who had previously given the Sussexes the benefit of the doubt expressed deep discomfort with the staging of children carrying flowers to a private grave for public consumption. It reinforced the growing perception that no aspect of Princess Diana's life or death was off limits if it could be converted into public attention or brand equity for Montecito. That graveside photo wasn't just an isolated lapse in judgment. It was part of an orchestrated PR roadmap, leading directly to the 30-year anniversary of Princess Diana's death in 2027. But Prince William has drawn a line in the sand that cannot be crossed. As we look ahead to 2027, the conflict between the brothers is converging on the absolute last remaining thread connecting them. Out of all the dozens of royal patronages, military appointments, and charitable foundations they once shared, there is only one organisation left on Earth where both William and Harry are still listed as co-patrons. The Diana Award, established to honour young people carrying on their mother's legacy. The Diana Award organisation is actively planning a massive black tie gala for 2027 to mark 3 decades since Diana's passing in 1997. And the event schedule reveals something deeply suspicious about how the organisers are operating. The organisers are scheduling the gala to align perfectly with Harry's visit to England for the Invictus Games in the city of Birmingham. Why? Because the organisers are desperate to get both brothers into the same room. Sources report that Harry and Meghan are equally desperate to attend that gala together. They want that one magical photograph of Harry, Meghan, and William standing together under Diana's name. Why are they so desperate for that specific photograph? Because one single photograph of the brothers, reunited, instantly rewrites the global narrative for Netflix, Spotify, commercial investors, and Hollywood executives. It tells the commercial world, Harry is back, Harry is relevant, Harry is royal again. Overnight, every commercial brand deal that Sussex touches would be revalued upward by tens of millions of dollars. It would signal to international sponsors that the rift was healing, that the royal connection was restored, and that investing in the Sussex brand carried the implicit backing of the British monarchy once more. A single handshake in front of a step and repeat banner could revitalise their struggling commercial empire in California. But Prince William sees the trap clearly, and his stance is simple, immovable, and ironclad. Nothing official connected to Princess Diana will ever involve Meghan Markle again, period. William understands that he has been the collateral damage for 6 years of Sussex PR games and strategic media manipulation. He knows that if he gives them an inch, they will take a mile and turn. His mother's memory into another multi-part streaming special, or a chapter in a revised paperback book. William is reportedly ready to sever ties with the Diana Award entirely, withdrawing his patronage after decades of support, rather than be forced onto a stage with his brother and sister-in-law for a commercial photo op. Think about the strength of character required for William to take that position. The Diana Award is one of the most meaningful charities associated with his mother's name. It does extraordinary work recognising young leaders around the world. Yet William recognises that preserving the integrity of his mother's memory requires making hard, painful choices. He refuses to allow a charity created in her honour to be exploited as a commercial staging ground for individuals who have spent 6 years attacking the very institution his mother belonged to. William's refusal to participate in this orchestrated reunion has thrown the organisers of the Diana Award Gala into complete disarray. They are discovering that attempting to manufacture a royal reconciliation for publicity purposes carries severe consequences. If William withdraws his support, the charity loses the backing of the future king, leaving Harry as the sole royal patron of an increasingly controversial organisation. William refuses to be collateral damage for his brother's PR machine. And honestly, when you look at what Harry is actually trying to protect, the Sussex commercial empire in 2026 is looking emptier than ever before. So let's step back and look at the bigger picture in 2026. What does Harry actually have left to show for his explosive exit from the royal family 6 years ago? The commercial empire that was supposed to make them global billionaires and lifestyle icons has completely crumbled under the weight of its own hype. Meghan's lifestyle and jam brand launched to abysmal reviews, widespread public mockery, and severe supply chain delays. Their multi-million-dollar streaming deal with Netflix has been severely downgraded after producing content that flopped with international audiences and failed to generate critical acclaim. Meghan's cooking and entertaining show was quietly cancelled after just 2 seasons due to abysmal viewership numbers. And what about the Invictus Games? The one remaining crown jewel in Harry's public portfolio, the project he pointed to as proof of his independent impact. Even that is now engulfed in financial scandal and organisational crisis. Investigative reports and detailed accounts from Tom Bower's book revealed that Invictus Games funds were allegedly spent on luxury private jets, personal security details, and 5-star presidential suites for Harry and Meghan during international events. All of this while the host city of Birmingham was declaring municipal bankruptcy and cutting basic public services for its own citizens. The financial equation for Harry in 2026 has shrunk down to 4 brutal, unforgiving words: no Invictus, no Harry. If the Invictus Games board decides to drop him, or if host cities refuse to fund their lavish travel demands, Harry has 0 public standing left. He becomes just another former royal living in California, devoid of official duties, patronages, or diplomatic relevance. Compare Harry's chaotic, controversy-ridden trajectory with his brother's steady leadership. Prince William has never had a charity sue him in the High Court. William has never faced a formal investigation from a charity regulator for workplace misconduct or belligerence. William has never had to explain a staged Instagram photo taken at his mother's private grave to an outraged public or a High Court judge. William has never given a single commercial tell-all interview, throwing his father, brother, or late grandmother under the bus for financial gain. Same mother, same surname, same aristocratic upbringing, same tragic childhood loss, yet 2 completely undeniably different outcomes. While Harry has spent 6 years chasing commercial deals, litigating past grievances in courtrooms, and alienating former allies, William has focused on quiet, impactful service. His Earthshot Prize has become a premier global environmental award, funding real solutions to climate change without commercial exploitation. His homelessness initiatives are creating tangible housing solutions across the United Kingdom. He carries out his official duties with grace, dignity, and unwavering loyalty to the Crown. The contrast between the two brothers is no longer a matter of opinion or media spin. It is a documented historical fact visible to anyone paying attention in 2026. One brother built a life based on duty service and respect for tradition. The other built a commercial brand based on grievance media exposure and the monetization of his family name. And that commercial brand is now collapsing under the weight of its own legal and ethical contradictions. One brother has never had a charity. Sue him never had to explain a graveside photo to a judge. So, what is the ultimate, most painful lesson that Princess Diana left behind for both of her sons? Years ago, shortly after Meghan Markle joined the royal family, a senior royal figure offered her a piece of profound advice following a charity visit, where Meghan wrote personal messages on bananas intended for vulnerable women in food shelters. The story dominated the headlines, completely eclipsing the charity's vital work. The senior royal figure looked at her and delivered 6 simple words that contained the entire philosophy of royal service. The focus is the charity. It is never about you. Princess Diana understood that fundamental rule instinctively. It is the exact reason why her charity work moved the hearts of hundreds of millions of people around the globe. Diana possessed the most famous, most photographed face on planet Earth. Yet whenever she walked into a hospital ward, a hospice, or a community centre, she pointed the spotlight entirely at other people. When she shook hands with an AIDS patient in 1987 without wearing gloves, breaking global stigma, it wasn't about her personal brand or her publicity metrics. When she walked through an active landmine field in Angola in 1997, wearing a simple protective visor and denim jeans, it wasn't a fashion statement or a documentary scene. She made herself the smallest thing in the room, so that the cause could become the biggest thing in the world. Her younger son put her name on a charity for children suffering from HIV. In 2026, that exact charity is suing him for defamation in the High Court of England and Wales. Her elder son carries her face, her surname, and her enduring legacy. And he has never once had to defend his personal integrity or his charitable motivations to a judge, a regulator, or a commercial camera crew. 6 years ago, Prince Harry gave a famous televised interview in which he claimed that his father, King Charles, and his brother, Prince William, were trapped inside the rigid royal institution, while he had proudly escaped to freedom in America. Here we are in 2026. Look at who is actually trapped. Harry is trapped as a named defendant in a British courtroom, being sued in his mother's sacred name, his private WhatsApp messages, his personal text exchanges with his wife, and his internal email correspondence are subject to mandatory nuclear court disclosure. The courageous self-made woman he tried to push around on a charity board now controls his legal destiny, setting the legal pace, picking the trial dates, demanding evidence, and deciding whether to force him into a devastating public high court judgment that will permanently destroy what remains of his public reputation. And what about the brother, who was supposedly trapped inside the royal system? Prince William carries on with quiet dignity, serving his country, honouring his mother in genuine private grief, building an unbreakable legacy for his own children, and preparing to take the throne with the respect and admiration of a nation. Because someone tried to teach the Sussexes the fundamental rule of royal service years ago over a box of fruit, but only one brother truly understood its timeless wisdom. It was never about you. One brother lost everything trying to exploit Princess Diana's name for commercial gain and publicity leverage. The other brother never had to exploit her name, he just lived her values every single day. If you want the complete step-by-step breakdown of what legal documents Harry will be forced to surrender next in court, click the video right here on your screen right now. Don't forget to subscribe to Sussex Unmasked. Turn on notifications, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and we will see you in the next episode.